Welcome to another video in my series of answering history exam questions for O-level. So in this video, I'll be looking at how you can answer part C of the Edexcel iGCSE History Paper 1. And I'm making these videos because I was confused myself like quite a lot as a student and came to the conclusion that I should make these videos because after a lot of research, I finally found out the way to perfectly answer, history questions in the Edexcel iGCSE history exams. And I found out through, of course, lots of documents from Pearson themselves, including the sample assessment material mostly. And this helped me quite a lot, and so I decided to make my own videos in order to benefit others as well. So quickly, let's just look at what is paper 1. I've discussed this in my previous videos, and if you haven't watched those, you should watch them as well. They're linked to this one, and they're provided down below. So I'll just go over this very quickly. Paper 1 is a component of the Edexcel iGCSE History Specification. It's known as Depth Studies paper. Usually students must answer only 2 questions from this paper and only 1 extract is provided for each question. Here is an example extract. And you don't really have to use this extract for part C of paper 1. You don't have to use it at all. It's only needed for part A, and if you want, you can use it for part B. The links to both of these videos of mine are at the top as well, so you should check them out. They're related to the extract C, as you can see over here, but Part C is not related to this extract. I'm just showing this in order to make you familiar with how the question is provided in the exam. So yeah, just forget about this extract for now because part C is not related to it at all. But if you want to know more about how you have to use this extract in answering your question, you should definitely watch part A. Anyway, moving on, let's look at part C more closely. To begin with, it is for 16 marks, which is why you should spend 25 minutes on it. And this is because it's the longest question in the entire, it's like the longest part in the question because one question has many parts and this is part C and this one has the most marks. And it also requires a lot of your attention and concentration because you have to write a longer answer. So you should spend 25 minutes on it, and this is known as a how far do you agree question because that's basically what they're going to ask you in this question. They're going to give you an example event, etc., or some kind of, they'll give you a situation or they'll make a statement and ask you how far you agree with it. And of course, you have to provide your answer. Another thing, there is a choice of 2 questions provided. So there's of course only one part C, but you're given a choice of 2 questions, which is amazing. This was not there in the previous specification, so it's only there in the new specification. And the good thing about this is that you can choose which one you want to attempt for part C. So if you're confused still, because I know it can be hard to grasp in the beginning if you're very new to all of this, so let me just show you an example over here. As you can see over there, it says either, and then it says or. So you can either choose this question over here that I've shown you or another question which was below this, but I didn't include it because it's the same format as the one I'm showing you here, except it's just another question. And anyway, I didn't want to put the whole thing in here. So as you can see, this indicates that you have a choice and you can choose any one. Of course, please don't attempt to do both of them. That's going to waste your time and you're not going to get any marks. Don't think you're going to get marks for doing both of them. Nope. You just have to do one. And yeah. So over here you can see they've asked a how far do you agree question, as I said earlier. Let's just read the whole question. The Depression was the main reason that Hitler became Chancellor of Germany in January 1933. How far do you agree? Explain your answer. As you can see, they're saying explain your answer. So they just don't want you to say, okay, I agree this much and not explain it. Of course not. It's for 16 marks. And I'm sure most of you know that you're supposed to explain your answer in detail. So now below this, you'll see that they've given you 2 suggestions. You may use the following in your answer: the Depression, the role of the Sturmabteilung, SA. And as you can see, they've added this line over here. You must also use information of your own. The reason that must is bold is because it's very important for you to use your own information in this answer. So what you should do is basically take these two suggestions that they've given you and add one of your own suggestions, which comes under your own information. As they've said, you must use your own information. So you add a topic or a point, a third point, in addition to these 2 points which they've given, which makes up for your part of the information. Now, some people might do it in another way. For example, they might take like 3 whole points from their own. So for example, in relation to the question, I'll just give an example. They'll just give 3 reasons from their own knowledge why Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. Well, you could do that, but one teeny tiny problem with that is that you can waste a lot of time in trying to think out 3 entire reasons on your own, because it's hard to talk about how Hitler became Chancellor of Germany if you don't talk about the SA or the Great Depression. So that's why it's good if you just take the 2 points that they've given you. You're not going to get lower marks for taking their suggestions. So just take 2 of the suggestions that they've given. So you take the Depression and the Sturmbefehl, and you also add another point, which could be anything. So in total, it should be 3 points or 3 factors or 3 reasons, whatever you want to call it. But in total, you should make sure it's 3. So here are the steps basically in how you should start your process of answering this question. So number 1, you should, just think it out in your head. How far do you actually agree? You should be very clear in this. You should just, as soon as you read the question, just make a decision about how far you agree. So a lot, a little, hardly. And once you do this, you have to choose your points or factors. So as I said earlier, I'm not going to repeat it that much, but basically take 2 and 1 of your own. So the one from your own knowledge could be propaganda, communism, etc. So this is actually an example in relation to the previous question, but of course the questions vary. You take your own points according to the question, but in total they should be 3 points, as I mentioned earlier. And the third step is to write your answer. So after you determine these first 2 things, you should immediately start writing your answer, which consists of an introduction, 3 paragraphs, and a conclusion. Since this is a longer question, you have to include an introduction and a conclusion. But for the previous 2 questions, which I did in my other 2 videos, part A, part B, they're smaller ones, so you don't have to do an intro and a conclusion. But for part C, you must. So let's just get into an example introduction. So over here is an example introduction for the previous question which I showed you, which was basically they made a statement that the Depression was the main reason for Hitler becoming Chancellor in 1933. So the student over here has agreed to this to quite an extent. Actually, the student, I think, has agreed completely with the statement they made. So there were a number of reasons for Hitler becoming Chancellor in 1933. Amongst these were Nazi propaganda and a strong fear of communism, but more than anything it was the Depression, because it enabled all the other factors to become influential. So as you can see, I've highlighted some words over here. The ones in red are the ones that are from the student's own information, and the one in blue is the one which was suggested in the question itself. So as you can see, the student over here has chosen to take 2 points or factors or reasons, whatever, from their own information and only take 1 from the question. Of course, you can do it either way you want, as I said earlier. I think I said it too many times, but the reason I'm reinstating that fact is because it's very important to know that it's not bad to use the information that's provided, and also it's not entirely compulsory for you to use your own information for all 3 points. You can take 2 from the question or 1 from the question, and likewise. So the red ones, the ones in red, are the ones the student took from their own knowledge, and the one in blue is basically the Depression, which was already provided in the answer. So as you can see, this introduction is very good. It's actually quite perfect because it's concise to begin with, and it also clearly outlines what the student is going to cover in his answer. So he or she, whoever, has clearly showed that they're going to talk about Nazi propaganda, strong fear of communism, and the Depression in their answer. So these are the 3 factors. So the examiner gets to know quite straight away what the student is going to talk about in his answer. And also another thing, the student has made sure to convey how far they agree. So as you can see in the last sentence, but more than anything, it was the depression because it enabled all the other factors to become influential. So over here, the student has clearly showed that they agree to a very far extent that the depression was the main reason, because they have even given a reason for why they think the depression was the main reason, because it enabled all the other factors to become influential. This kind of a statement is very good to include in your introduction because it gives the examiners a clear idea of how far you agree. Now let's move on to an example paragraph. Before that, I must include that you should use Peel in your answering, and this is only for your main paragraphs, not for your introduction and conclusion. Of course, I'm sure most of you know that. And if you're wondering what Peel is, don't get confused. P stands for point, E stands for evidence, the second E stands for explanation, and the L stands for link. If you want to know in detail how to use Peel in your paragraphs, please watch my previous video, which is on part B, and I've explained how to use Peel in quite a lot of detail, so I'm not going to show you how to use it. And if you watched the previous video, well, that's good for you. You already know how to use it. So let's just go and see an example paragraph. I'm not going to show you how to structure the entire answer for part C. I'm just going to give you this example paragraph over here. And based on this structure, you, of course, structure your other two paragraphs as well. I just want to reinstate over here that you have an introduction, 3 main paragraphs, and a conclusion. 3 main paragraphs, meaning that 1 paragraph is equal to 1 point or 1 factor or 1 reason, etc. So over here is just one example paragraph, and it deals with the fear of communism. As you can see, I've highlighted it just to show you that the student has clearly conveyed what they're talking about in this paragraph by even repeating the words again in their paragraph. So, fear of communism was an important reason for Hitler becoming chancellor. In 1917, there had been a communist revolution in Russia, and the Spartacists had also tried to seize power in Germany after the First World War. Fear that Germany's economic problems might lead to a support for communism led rich industrialists like Krupp and Siemens to provide financial support for the Nazis to help them organize and get their message across to the public. These industrialists were worried that the German people would listen to the communist theory that the problems in Germany were proof that the capitalist system didn't work. The Communists had won 77 seats in the 1930 election, so there was a genuine threat. Therefore, the fear of communism led to the Nazis getting more support and financial backing so that they were able to become the leading party in the Reichstag, and eventually Hitler became chancellor. Now, I've read the whole paragraph and you were probably quite bored when I was reading this, especially if you don't know anything related to German history, so I'm sorry for that, but I just did it in order to give you an idea of how an entire answer should, an entire paragraph should sound like, and I'll just highlight some key features of this paragraph which make it so perfect, and that is in the beginning itself the student has clearly identified what feature or what reason they're talking about. As you can see, fear of communism was an important reason for Hitler becoming chancellor. Then this is basically their point. Then they've provided evidence for this in 1917. As you can see, he or she has given dates, which is a very key feature. They've also included events. Spartacists had tried to seize power, which relates to the Spartacist uprising. They've also mentioned people, Krupp and Siemens, industrialists, which is another very good example of evidence or spend information. As I said in my previous video, spend is basically statistics, places, events, names, and dates. So all of these are examples of evidence that you can provide for your point. Then they've explained all of this and given a concluding statement to their paragraph, which is basically a link back to their point. Therefore, the fear of communism led to the Nazis getting more support and financial backing so that they were able to become the leading party in the Reichstag, and eventually Hitler became chancellor. So this is a very good paragraph for the reasons that I just stated, and this is how you should structure your own paragraphs as well. Now let's look at an example conclusion over here. So although there were other factors which interacted with one another in helping explain the rise to power of Hitler, this essay has sustained the argument that the depression was the most important factor because it increased both fear of communism and the impact of propaganda. So the best thing about this conclusion is that they have reinstated, I'm using the word reinstated a lot, but yeah, they've reinstated that, this is how far they agree with the statement that was given. In this case, they have given the argument that the depression was the most important factor, which means that they agree quite a lot with the statement that was made, and they've given the concluding reason for it as well, because it increased both fear of communism and the impact of propaganda, and They've also mentioned the 3 points or the 3 factors which they discussed in the answer once again in the conclusion as well. So overall, this is what makes this answer so perfect, the fact that they've integrated all of their factors together. By they, I mean student, of course. And now here are some extra points which could help you as well, and I've just included them in order to sort of summarize the entire video. To begin with, you should only spend 25 minutes on this part of paper 1. Then you should mention a minimum of 3 points or topics. Now, of course, you can mention more than 3 points or topics. It doesn't mention in the answer that you must answer only 3 topics or 3 points, factors, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't say only 3, but of course it is understood that you're supposed to provide only 3, because that's usually the number of points that a student can provide in that time, because in 25 minutes I don't think most students are able to give more than 3 points, which is something that I'm also unable to do. Actually, at the moment I am struggling a lot with writing answers within time limits, which is something that every student faces, and that's why it's better to write a minimum of 3 points. Moving ahead, you should use the phrase "from my own knowledge," because this shows that the evidence that you've just given is from your own knowledge, and it helps the examiner to understand that, oh, okay, this is from the student's own knowledge. They do have quite a lot of knowledge related to this period, etc. You should also provide precise, clear, and accurate evidence. The evidence you provide should not be something that's not related to your point or something that's not accurate, and doesn't include spend information, as I said earlier. And you should use counter-argument phrases like "conversely," "on the other hand," etc., because these are quite good. It shows whether you agree with the statement that has been made in the question or you don't. So you should use such phrases. Next, you should make links between your points or factors if it's possible. So for example, the student in the previous answer, which I showed you in the previous paragraphs, definitely linked all of their points, because they said that the depression led to a fear of communism as well as propaganda from the Nazis. So they've linked the depression to the other 2 points, which is a very good technique to use, and if possible, you should use it. If it's not possible, it's alright. So yeah, these are just some extra points, and I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.